We're back. Welcome back, everyone, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another edition of HCW Show Squared. This is episode 19, and this is the show where we take the usual format or formula of the HCW show and expand it to, you guessed it, the power of 2. I'm your host, as always, Dan DP, or as we all say on this show, DPZ. Yeah. And without any further ado, let me just go ahead and quickly change the layout before I go into the next bit of what I'm going to say, which is not that screen, it's this screen. Here we go. Yeah, sorry. So if you, before I get into things, if you just give us a like on the video, on the channel as well, any subscriptions and stuff like that helps towards our goals. Above my head now are our group social medias as well. So we have our Twitch, which we're streaming on regularly, every week at least. We have our Twitter or our X. We have our Instagram, our Facebook, and our Threads. Threads we will get to. I don't know when, but we will. I promise. At some point, hopefully, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, and as I said already, just like subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you get your notifications for when we get new videos out. And without any further ado, let's just get into the reviews because there's a lot we gotta get through. So we kick things off with NXT for the 5th of December. We kick things off with a last chance Iron Survivor qualifying match. So these are the 4 women who lost their Iron Survivor qualifying matches. We had Roxanne Perez, Thea Hale, Fallon Henley, and Kiana James. Fallon wins with a Shining Wizard on Thea Hale after Roxanne and Kiana wipe each other out on a table. I rated 3.5 stars. I like this. I really liked it. It had action. It had stakes. It had what it needed to be a good match without any of the excess. It did center on Roxanne and Kiana a bit too much for my liking, but that just made it feel like it wasn't going to be either Fallon or Thea, which is good for me. So when Fallon did win, it came more as a surprise than what it probably should have. Yeah, but I enjoyed it, and Fallon has now entered herself into the Iron Survivor, so best of luck to her in the match itself, because she is one of my favourites. Wesley is here. He's on crutches though. He's injured, and he needs surgery. So obviously we at HCW wish him well, and that you come back strong as ever. But what does this mean for the North American title match at Deadline? Well, we'll answer that almost straight away, because Dominic comes out and he taunts Wesley. He's then cut off by Rey Mysterio on the Titantron, who announces that Dominic will be fighting someone at Deadline, and that someone is Dragon Lee. So Dragon Lee and Dominic is made official for Deadline for the North American title. And then Dragon Lee comes out and gets the upper hand on Dominic to end off that segment. We then get a match between Lola Vice and Tatum Paxley. So Lola Vice was taunting Lyra Valkyria backstage, and then Tatum came in to protect her friend. I don't know. Came in basically make it safe for Lyra. Lola wins though with the spinning heel kick to the face of Tatum. I rated 2 3/4 stars. It was quite short. It was okay. I'm not too sure what's going on with Tatum because there's this sort of obsession with Lyra. I don't know what they're doing there, but it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. And Lola continues to be a little basic in the ring, but I have hope for her. Plus, with her breakout contract, gives her enough time and hopefully be a credible threat towards Lyra or whoever's champ, when she then catches in that opportunity. The next match of the night was Alpha Academy. Chad Gable, Otis, and Maxine Dupree taking on Metaphor, Noam Dar, Oro Mensah, and Lash Legend. Alpha Academy win when Chad counters a Nova Roller into an ankle lock for a submission victory. I rated 3 stars. It was alright. I do think it's overrated by people. I've seen online reviewing this one. The only real moments were Chad and Noam exchanging, and then the Lash Legend body slamming Otis spot. It looked cool, and the crowd popped for it, but outside of that, there was nothing really else going on in the match. It was okay though. But I can't lie, I'm hoping Alpha Academy are out of NXT soon and they go back to Raw because I'm kind of getting bored of them a little bit. Whatever. There was some kind of Iron Survivor sit down for the women, so they had all five sitting in the ring and they were all talking and exchanging comments. I didn't watch it, I just skipped forward and I got to the bit where Fallon just ends up saying, "Yeehaw, bitch," and it made me laugh, so yeah, that was all I saw pretty much of that bit, but it was just a lot of talking. Nothing really happened, and there's a big brawl, so fun. We then get Axiom and Nathan Frazier. The match is brought to a no contest when the Iron Survivor women come in causing the ruckus and by fighting everywhere, and then the match is a no contest. So that ends that match after like 2 minutes. So didn't rate it. Fun. Chase U addressed the student base now. So Andre Chase is addressing his class. There is a financial crisis going on within Chase U, and Andre Chase blames himself because he is the one who misappropriated college funds. They won't be eligible now for backing, for the academic backing, whatever it is. He owes hundreds of thousands of dollars and did so through a third party. I suspect that the third party is probably the family, Tony D'Angelo's group. And it's pretty much confirmed when that woman who's with the family is in the class with them. I don't know why. I don't know her name, unfortunately, but I feel like that's the direction they're going with this. We then get a main event, last chance Iron Survivor qualifying match. This is for the 4 men who didn't win. Carmelo Hayes, Tyler Bate, Joe Coffey, and Eddie Thorpe. Tyler Bate wins with the tie driver 97 on Joe Coffey for the 3. I rated 3 3/4 stars. It was really good. I found it was slightly better than the women's fatal 4-way. And everything seemed to be evenly paced out. I think, like the women's match, there was some slight overshadowing foreground. So with the women's, you had the stuff with Kiana and Roxanne. And with this, you had the story of Carmelo and Trick. I feel like they did a good job, though, to disassociate Carmelo from his demons, so to speak. Overall, though, good match. Not as good as the 4-way from last week with, Wesley, Gargano, Bronson Reed, and Cameron Grimes. But yeah, overall it was alright. Post-match, there's a bunch of talking from the others in the Iron Survivor. So Dijak comes out first, then Bron Breakker, then Briggs, and then Trick, and then the fight breaks out. Okay. The end of the show, though, sees a confrontation between Ilya Dragunov and Baron Corbin. There's not much here. It's just them talking, which leads to the Iron Survivor combatants and interrupting again, and a table then gets broken when Bron spears Trick through it. And then Tyler stands tall to end the show. And that was NXT. Feels like a lot of pandering and a lot of filling gaps to get to the deadline, and ultimately it was a good enough show. It didn't have to be special because it was the go home before the PLE, so it makes sense why they didn't really do much with this show. But yeah, we'll move on to Rampage. So moving on to Rampage for the 8th of December. We kick things off with the AEW International Championship as champion Orange Cassidy defended against Angelico. This started off on Ring of Honor, so I never saw it. Orange Cassidy wins with the Orange Punch and retained the title. I rated it 3.5 stars. Honestly, it was really enjoyable. You had the outside antics, from Danhausen and Serpentico, which made for a nice breakaway during the not-so-hot spots of the match. Cassidy, though, is always good to see in a match, and Angelico works well with practically anyone. So, I don't know if there was... Maybe there was something more here between these two, but these two really gelled well, and the chemistry was quite good for these two. Either way, I feel it was a sleeper hit, and it's something that if it's on paper, you'll be like, that's not going to be good. It was good. Watch it if you get the chance, because I would probably... Not thoroughly, but I would say watch it. It's pretty good. We move on to Abaddon taking on Trish Adora. Abaddon wins with the Black Death, which is their leg wrapped around the head DDT. I rated 1 3/4 stars. I found it hard to rate high because it was like sub 3 minutes. Plus, I'm seeing Trish Adora having good matches on the indie scene. Seeing her here in a minimalist role against Abaddon, it didn't feel competitive, and it just felt more like a foregone conclusion, given that Trish didn't even get an entrance in this match. If I had more time, maybe I might have rated it higher, but I'll stand by what I said. Post-match, though, TBS champion Julia Hart comes out and lays the title down between her and Abaddon, seemingly laying out the challenge, the gauntlet, so be it, for a future title match, and then disappears with the title. We then move on to the Don Callis family, which is Powerhouse Hobbs and Konosuke Takashita, taking on Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal. The Don Callis family win with the most dangerous slam from Hobbs on Daniels. I rated it 3 stars. It wasn't really a match of any substance, but it was more of a glorified squash match for Hobbs and Takashita. I can't take away from Daniels and Sydal, though, a team I do typically enjoy, as I don't see them that often when I review these things. Overall, though, it wasn't much to comment on in reality. And your main event from Rampage was the AEW Continental Classic Blue League match between Daniel Garcia and Bryan Danielson. And I'll say, even though I've been covering Rampage for a fair bit now, I think it's about 4 months that we've been covering it, I never thought I'd be watching a Bryan Danielson match on Rampage. But here we are. Bryan Danielson wins, though, with the LeBell Lock for the referee stoppage victory. I rated it 4 stars. It was really good. Bryan never fails to deliver, and Garcia was a great sparring partner for this encounter. There was a story told with this, and that Garcia chooses the stupid decisions every time, and it ultimately costs him. But the general concept of Garcia here is interesting. He once again makes a mistake that costs him, and it helped Matt Menard, the commentator, to point this out. But yeah, Bryan's one of those guys who you tell him what you want, and he'll go out and do it to the best of his ability. This was great, and it was surprising to see on Rampage, and you don't normally see this sort of thing on Rampage, as opposed to an 8-man tag, or 6-man tag, or 10-man tag for no real reason. So it's a nice change of pace to see that here on Rampage. And that brought an end to Rampage. Getting through this quite quickly today, as we move on to the main reason we are all here. Okay, so it is time we go into NXT Deadline, the final WWE PLE of 2023. For the 9th of December. So that was yesterday as I'm recording this. So, the card looks good, but how will the execution go? Let's dig into it and find out. We kick things off with Shawn Michaels. He's here to do the Triple H thing, like, are you ready? No, are you ready? But no, it comes CM Punk. Okay. Oh yeah. I think it's been Punk's first appearance on NXT ever. I could be wrong. I don't recall him being on NXT before though, so maybe it was. But he's not here for anything particularly noteworthy. He's the son of NXT. He's like, I'm wanted on Raw and I'm wanted on SmackDown. But does NXT want me? And will the next NXT signing be the name of CM Punk? Yeah. I'm being a bit selfish here, but I want him to sign to NXT so I can see more of his stuff on NXT when I review it for HCW Show Squared. And it hasn't got to be said. I'm a Punk. I got a Punk shirt on. I'm a Punk fan. I always have been. Since I think it's every one of the days I've been a fan of his. It's just insane to me. Not every one. I'm on about. Sorry, ECW days. Sorry, like WWE ECW. And yeah, I want him to sign to NXT so I can see more of him because I don't watch Raw and SmackDown typically. So Punk, please. Anyway, moving on to the matches itself of the show. We had the NXT North American Championship on the line as Dominic Mysterio defended against Dragon Lee. A match that had a foregone conclusion, really, and Dragon Lee wins. Okay. He's a new North American champion. He wins with a running destino. I don't know what he calls it. 3.5 stars. Really good opener. Really good way to open things up here. And Dragon Lee proved that he is head and shoulders above Dominic in ring, which is no surprise, to be completely honest. There was no interference from anyone in Judgment Day as well, which was a nice touch, as Dominic was truly on his own here. And Dragon Lee made the most of that. Fun opener, couldn't ask for anything more, really. We then move on to the Women's Iron Survivor match. So this is my first time covering the Iron Survivor in any concept of it. So I'll cover over the rules for it real quick. So there's a 25-minute time limit, with the winner becoming #1 contender to the women's title at New Year's Evil. 2 women start the match, and every 5 minutes a new competitor will enter the fray. Falls can be won via pinfall, submission, or DQ, and they gain 1 point when it happens. When a competitor loses a fall, they are timed out in a penalty box for 90 seconds, a minute and a half. Then they can re-enter. The winner is the person with the most falls at the end of 25 minutes. So let's get going. Your combatants are Fallon Henley, Blair Davenport, Kalani Jordan, Lash Legend, and Tiffany Stratton. I was going to make a comment about how I try not to be biased about these sort of things. But Fallon and Blair kick things off, so really cool. They're my preferred 2 out of these 5. So Blair Davenport wins the match ultimately, getting pins on Fallon, Kalani, and then Fallon again. The final scores though are Blair with 3, Fallon with 1, Kalani with nothing, Lash with 2, and Tiffany with 1. I rated 4 stars. Really good match. Every person in the match knew what they were doing and knew it was on the line. So in that air of desperation was rife. Everyone broke up pins when they could. Everyone attempted moves and subsequent pins when they could. And the final fall for Blair came within 15 seconds of the time limit expiring. So overall, I really enjoyed it. And it's a stipulation I quite enjoy. I especially like it comes only once a year, so it's not oversaturated. Like the Royal Rumble or Money in the Bank. Some of my favourite matches there. And I think I can add Iron Survivor to that list of things I really enjoy. Post-match though, Blair declares herself the Iron Survivor, and out comes Lyra Valkyria to confront her. Be like, I'm champion, bring it. But then Lyra's taken up by someone, and it's Cora Jade. Cora Jade returned to NXT. She takes down Lyra, holds up the title, and looks on towards the ring, towards Blair, who looks back at Cora. Overall, good stuff. Really enjoyed it. Then we go on to a singles match between Carmelo Hayes and Lexis King. And before we get into it, I made a comment about the throne thing that he has for his entrance. Can we stop doing it? Because it just looks a bit goofy. But Carmelo wins, ultimately, with the nothing but net. I rated 2 3/4 stars. I have to be honest, this was the match that I was looking forward to the least on this card. And this match sort of proved me right. I get wanting to put Carmelo on the PLE, but this match felt more like it belonged on TV than PLE. You could have just slotted Carmelo into the Iron Survivor. It would have added so much to it. But oh well, I guess this match made sense in the overall. Lexis is a much better. He's in a much better situation than he was in AEW, which is not saying much. But that's something at least. Other than that, I got nothing really to comment on this match. We do get a post-match promo from Lexis, who confirms that it wasn't Lexis who attacked Trick, and he thanks Carmelo for the PLE spotlight. I didn't really get the point of him saying that, other than Lexis doesn't really care about wins or losses, and he just wants the spotlight. I don't know if that's the main goal you want for someone on your roster, like the kayfabe reasoning for someone to be here. Whatever. Anyway, move on to the men's Iron Survivor match. Said the rules already. Not gonna go through them again. Dijak and Josh Briggs start things off. My preferred person, once again, in this match, kicks things off, and that was Dijak. He's the only one that I really prefer for this match. But Trick Williams wins, with pins over everyone in the match. Literally, pins everyone once. So your final scores are Tyler Bate with 3, Bron Breakker with 3, Josh Briggs with 2, Dijak with 3, and Trick Williams with 4. There was 15 falls altogether in this match. It was insane. And I rated it 4 1/4 stars. I am so heavily torn on this match. On one hand, I fucking love it. I loved it so much. The suspense, the action, the back and forth, the never really knowing who's going to come out on top scenario. And the fact that Trick had 0 points entering the final 2 minutes of this match. And there's a massive burst leading to him getting 4 points. But with every positive I can think of, there's one massive negative for me, which hurts the match. And why I didn't rate it higher. And that being the uh, literal booking or plot armor for Trick Williams. In the world of realism, you're telling me that Trick Williams is somehow recovering from a Dijak Feast Your Eyes, his actual finisher, and then, after interference from Eddie Thorpe, then rolls him up as if nothing's happened. And then he takes a tornillo, which is like a spinning 450 sort of thing, from Tyler Bate, and then just counters a tie driver 97 into a roll up. It's ridiculous. He got pinned on a breaker and Briggs, and I got no issues with those two because they were spontaneous, out of nowhere. That's fine. I don't mind those. And I did thoroughly enjoy this match. And when I sit down to reflect on it, that's the main negative for me, is that plot armor for Trick Williams, which they seem to have. And ultimately, it shouldn't take away from the match for rating wise. So I'll stick to what I said with 4.4, 4.25. But don't get me wrong. I don't know. I am seeing Trick's improvements. I don't think he's world champion ready yet. But don't get me wrong, I'm seeing the improvements, and he's definitely come a long way. The crowds are fully behind him as well. I just feel like NXT need to take the foot off the pedal for Trick, because you're gonna burn him out, and then eventually you're gonna burn audiences out too on him when he wins the NXT title eventually and has a lackluster reign with it, because he's got a lot of character, but not enough substance. Right now, he has the Carmelo thing going for him, and that's about it. After that Carmelo story ends, one way or another, with Carmelo turning or Trick pretending, whatever it was, ultimately, it's going to be hard, because the Carmelo story is the most intriguing thing going in NXT, and it's going to be something that it's going to be hard for him to come back from. And also, Trick's not beating Ilya. Come on. I mean, I know Baron could win here, but, come on. In the world where Ilya retains, he's not beating Ilya. Come on. Be realistic. Moving on, though. We have a steel cage match between Roxanne Perez and Kiana James. Kiana wins with the deal breaker on a steel chair. I rated this 2.5 stars. I don't know if this was the wisest choice to have for a match following the men's Iron Survivor. This was considerably slower, and I get it was probably a cool down match, but this just didn't hit the way I imagine NXT wanted it to. Kiana's fine, and Roxanne's even better in the ring, but considering that you had Carmelo and Nexus on this card, you could have probably opened with the steel cage or put it after the North American title match. The match's weakness was highlighted significantly as part of after the men's Iron Survivor. So yeah, this wasn't great. Plus the ending made no sense for Kiana, but randomly having Izzy Dame helping out wasn't going to help anyone, because it seemed that no one knew who she was anyway. Ultimately, though, it seems like Kiana's got a new friend, and it should be something, I guess, to see what happens going forward. And then we go into the main event of the night, which was for the NXT Championship between Baron Corbin and Ilya Dragunov. Ilya wins, and he retains with 3 H-bombs and a Torpedo Moscow. I rated 3 3/4 stars. Very good main event. Ilya's always a great competitor to see, and Baron isn't one to look past. I make a case that this is maybe Baron's best work that he's had in his initial NXT run when he had hair. This was a match that wasn't about spots. It was like the Iron Survivor. It wasn't about spots. It was about psychology and a story being told, and it benefited from that, because I'm not sure Spot Fest would have worked between these two, especially. There was a bit of slowness that ultimately benefited the match, though, because it led to Ilya's rib issues, and then obviously we had the end of days false finish as well, which doesn't really happen that often, but it's good. It's good to see it in there sometimes. I wasn't really into it at the time, but looking back on it, I think it works best. Ilya showed a lot of fatigue and tiredness throughout the match, and the ending stretch was enjoyable. Overall, I did like this, and it was a good main event. It wasn't my highest rated match, but I understand why you put your world title in the main event over a match of the night competitor like the men's Iron Survivor. Post match though, Trick Williams comes out to confront Ilya, But he's slowly stalked by Carmelo Hayes behind him, and that is the ending image of Bloodline of Deadline. So yeah, we're gonna have Trick and Ilya at New Year's Evil, and it's gonna be that looming factor of Carmelo Hayes is potentially the guy who attacked Trick Williams. So we will see going forward what happens, but should be an interesting ride and should be a good road to follow. But with that, we do have an end to Deadline, and there is an end to HCW Show Squared episode 19. As I said before at the start of the video, please give us a like on the video, please subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell to get a notification of new videos coming out. I've got an interview coming up. Rate's got something coming up as well with the interviews. We've got Showdown. We've got a few reviews and previews as well coming out as well. So stay tuned for those. But as always, I've been Dan, and if you want me to cover anything else on weeks that aren't PLEs, then feel free to comment them or DM me or whatever. Feel free to message me at Dupreezy, but Dupreezy, Dupreezy. Yeah, I'll get back to you and I will let you know if I cover it or not, because I watch a lot of indie stuff. So if it's like MLW Fusion or NWA Power or whatever, I'll give an honest opinion on what I think about what happens in the show. And hell, if you want to get involved, let me know. Ultimately, it's lonely being here, and we will go forward from that. But yeah, everything's above me as well. So again, our Twitter, our Twitch, our Instagram, Facebook, and our threads. And individually, I am here. I'm here. I can feel who I am. I'm here. But yeah, other than that, I've been Dan, DP, Deepeasy, whatever you want to call me. And this has been HCW Show Squared. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.